This is Dads Watching Sports. It's the show by dads who watch sports, for dads who watch sports, or just dads in general. Here are the dads with a plan for every hashtag dad life and sports fan, Kyle Castles and Michael Draper.
Fancy new intro video there, Kyle, with a little introduction. What do you think, sir?
Man, I feel like this is a real podcast. I mean, we're 63, 4 episodes in, and we're just now becoming a real podcast.
That's right. We finally got an intro video, 64 episodes in. You're welcome. And speaking of welcome to Dads Watching Sports. He's Kyle Castles, and I'm Michael Draper. It is Sunday, May the 9th. Kyle, it is Mother's Day. Just a wonderful day for us to celebrate all of the wonderful mothers out there, and we'll get into that in just a little bit. But as always, we are broadcasting live on our Facebook page and the Off the Ball Network Facebook page. And Kyle, tonight we are streaming live on the Dads Watching Sports Twitter account. So all our tweeters out there, connect with us during the show. We'd love to hear from you.
The Twitterverse.
The Twitterverse. That's right. The Twitterverse, the tweeters, et cetera, et cetera.
Not the tweeter.
So how are you, man? We haven't spoken since last week. What's new in the Castles world? How's the weekend? What's all going on?
What's new? Nothing new. It'd be nice if we could get some ball games played for the boys instead of everything getting rained out. Wrigley's got it now that I think has been scheduled 4 times, so that's 3 makeups for this game, and every time we try to play it, it gets rained out, which is actually one I really want to play. So Jack plays in the 4 and under league, and his head coach I am the assistant coach on Jack's team. Also, his head coach coaches a 6 and under team, which is the Wrigley's league. And so I want to see, Wrigley play against Jack's coach. I think that'd be fun.
As it would be, yeah. So in that instance, obviously you're gonna be going for Jack's team. You'll get to rub it in a little bit with the other guy if you guys win.
Absolutely.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And I promise you, I'll let him hear it because I don't think Wrigley's team's won a game yet. So if we can pull a win out, if the Braves can beat the Reds, I promise you, there will be smack talk.
Oh, yeah. Well, and like last year, what was it, in the playoffs, the Reds didn't score a single run in 3 games during the wild card round. So maybe you guys will have the same luck with the Bravos there. So, Kyle, last week we talked a lot about getting old, hurting. I talked about playing basketball. You talked about, basically squatting for 4 hours while playing coaching baseball.
Yeah.
So on Friday, I got the unbelievable honor to participate in the Ashton Thomas Memorial Golf Tournament at the North Rutherford YMCA. Those of you that are familiar with our show, you remember we had Ashton's dad, Pat, on. It's been almost a year ago, I guess, on the show, and Kyle played 36 holes of golf on Friday. And I'm already bad at golf, but by the end, man, it was just we had a team of 4. We got through the first 18, and then about halfway through the second round, the other 2 guys had to leave, had other stuff they had to go to. So, Barry Etzel, our buddy Barry. Barry and I finished the last 5 holes, just the 2 of us. And by the time
you just played Barry's ball every single
we played his ball almost every single hole, every single shot the entire day. So Barry basically played 36 holes of golf by himself. But again, man, finished that and was just good grief.
And you walked it too, right?
No, we didn't walk it. Of course, no, absolutely not. We used carts, but even then, man, the old knee swollen up again, just like it was last week. I feel like that's just going to be an ongoing thing. But it was rough, man.
You got to back off of it, man. You're pushing that 4-0.
Hey,
got to relax a little.
I'm close, but I'm not quite there. But I will say this: one awesome thing, Kyle, that happened out of that golf tournament, I'm not only getting paid to play golf all day, Kyle, I was gifted quite possibly the greatest jacket in the history of the world. First off, I'll just kind of show you the front. It's like one of those old school starter jackets. So on the front, we got the old school UK basketball logo.
Nice.
But the thing that's the best part is the back. I'm just going to hold this up.
Oh, my goodness.
So that's Rupp Arena.
Yes.
With the national championship banners until 98. They don't have the 2012 one on there because this was probably made in 98. But, man, look at that.
Is that going to be get put in a frame and hung up at the house, or are we wearing that out?
Oh, no, man. We're wearing this thing out. Are you kidding me? I already told Suzanne the first UK game that we go to, probably basketball, not football. I'm rocking what looks like a 1997, 1998 starter jacket.
As you should.
Of course I should.
She'll be proud to be seen with you.
Oh, yeah. Well, she's always proud to be seen with me, especially UK sporting events. So rocking that bad boy, it's going to be a good time. So last thing about this weekend, and then we got a couple of things to get into. I noticed via social media, staying connected with friends and family, I noticed that you guys, I believe, went to lunch at the same place that we went to dinner, at least not this exact same restaurant, but the same type of restaurant,
yes.
Being Hibachi. And we were talking about this before the show, that it seemed like our children had very similar reactions to the fire that went along with Hibachi. I'll go into ours first. So Hayden, our 2-year-old, like, he's like, oh, this looks interesting. And the guy's like spraying the oil on it or whatever, and then lights it. And then he immediately is just like, and then literally like cowers down and is like burying his head into my armpit and will not move and sit up straight until the guy cooks, like completely finishes. So I'm like feeding him as he's like tucked in here, and he's like, Daddy, no, I want to go home. I'm like, Hayden, come on. It's just fire. He's just having a good time. He's like, no, he's loud. So just another one of those classic examples of, you think your kid's probably going to enjoy something. Oh, this will be fun. They're going to cook in front of us. And he was terrified.
Yeah, we ran into something very similar. We get there, and the table, I guess you call it a table, the grill next to us, they start cooking first, and I'm talking to Jack and say, hey, look, you can kind of see what he's doing over there. They're going to do something real similar over here. It's going to be great. And all of a sudden, the fireball with the, like you said, the oil and however they do it, goes, and his eyes get big. He's not real sure. And so when the guy comes and starts cooking our food, Jack ends up out of his chair behind me, like looking over my shoulder to watch a little bit. And the guy was great. Like he did all the stuff. He made the onion volcano and was enamored by that. But he also got Jack back in it. He threw a piece of onion at Jack, and that scared him. Threw some rice at Jack, and that scared him. But then I was like, buddy, it's rice. It's okay. And he just looked at it. He was like, rice? And at that point, he was much more comfortable. And once he had fried rice in front of him, he didn't care.
Yeah.
I showed him like fried rice and a little bit of yum yum, and you're going to be good to go, buddy.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. I think the combination of the fire, and then Hayden also had rice thrown at him, and that really freaked him out. He was like, what is this flying at me? Yeah, he was completely startled.
So I think what we've learned is we need to start throwing food at our kids as we cook more often.
Yes. To have them terrified of us, of course.
Exactly.
Yes. That's right. Well, Kyle, we mentioned it. It is Mother's Day. We got 2 awesome guests coming up after the break. We won't spoil it quite yet, but if you're checking in, we've tweeted about it a couple of times. Oh, there's Mrs. Castles. We've tweeted about it a couple of times over the past week. We gave out a couple of hints, Kyle. We said we got 2 big-time guests. These guests also have been known to be superheroes. They also love to rock blue. So we got a lot of good stuff going on here on the Dad's Watching Sports that we'll get to in just a minute. But it is Mother's Day, Kyle. You got your beautiful bride sitting there beside you. Day. And I thought, let's talk a little sports talk with Mother's Day. The top 5 moms in sports history. And this could have been determined however you wanted to do it. This could be moms that were athletes. This could be moms of athletes. I gave you full liberty here, Kyle. And it can be in any kind of order. So I'll give you mine first and I'll let you get into yours. And these are not in any order. These are just like, if I had to go top 5, I've got Deborah Phelps. Everybody remembers Michael Phelps, the swimmer, decorated Olympian. Every time he was there, Mom was there, cheering her heart out. She became kind of the national darling, cheering her son on to become the most decorated Olympian ever. Adia Barnes, we talked about this just a couple of months ago, Arizona's women's basketball coach. They get to the national championship. She literally breastfeeds at halftime of the national championship game and then comes back out and coaches the second half. Hats off to her. Who doesn't love Leanne Tui, who is Michael Orr's adopted mom? They made the Blind Side movie. She's got to be in that list. Then I've just kind of got to group in any mom who's still competing at a high level. I think if you're able to go out and compete at a high level in any kind of sport while also having to deal with mom life and everything that goes in with that, kudos to you. And then the number one mom in sports history, Kyle, if you remember back in like the late 90s, early 2000s, the Campbell's soup commercials, and Donovan McNabb's mom, Wilma McNabb, became a star of the Campbell's soup commercials, and her son was also, an all-star NFL quarterback. So those are my top 5 moms in sports. Who do you have?
That's not a bad list, and what's good is we only have one crossover. And I actually put mine in a top 5 because you said a top 5, and then you cheated and said I don't have a list. But whatever.
When you run the show, you get to do whatever you want to and make up the rules as we go, Kyle. Have you not learned that already? I just drop in topics every once in a while.
Oh, trust me, I know.
Producing on the fly, man.
So number 5, I actually have Leanne Tui. I mean, there was a movie made after her and her decisions and her adopted son and all of that stuff. Number 4, this woman married a Heisman hopeful who then became a NFL player for many years and was never very successful in the NFL, but birthed 2 Hall of Fame NFL quarterbacks. And so at number 4, I have Olivia Manning.
Sure, yeah, yep.
Number 3, I have Pamela McGee, JaVale McGee's mom.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've seen some of the stuff where she gives him a heart. She was a top end basketball player on the women's side herself. So
sure. Yep.
she likes to give her son a hard time, and that's funny. So I threw her in. Number 2 is Annie Apple, which I don't know if anybody remembers this, but mother of Eli Apple, who was the corner out of Ohio State, drafted by the Giants.
This is a family show.
However many years ago. But when the night he was drafted, she tweeted out something to the effect of all these girls sliding into NFL rookies' DMs.
Yep.
With
something about being thirsty. That's all I remember.
With their,
I don't quite understand it.
With their assets out. I'll word it that way. The only thing to quench their thirst is Jesus.
Amen.
And then, number 1 has got to be the real MVP, right? And Wanda Durant. She is the real MVP. So,
according to her son, Kevin, yes.
So I went with the real MVP at number 1.
That's right. So a couple of people chiming in here. Matt Kirk says Sister Jean, the mom of Loyola Chicago. That's right, Matt. Everybody loves good Sister Jean. And Mr. Castles, Mr. Castles.
Oh.
We give y'all heck if you didn't include Olivia.
Yep, I took care of you.
That's right. We always got to drop a Manning his name through here. Yep. So and Matt also says, what about Karl Anthony Towns' mom? Yep. She did pass away from COVID this past year. So definitely rest in peace to her. All right, Kyle, we had another topic. We're going to get to that after the break because I'm excited to bring on our 2 guests after this break to help us continue the show and get in some really good dad sports topics, get really in depth on some sports stuff. So we're going to go to a break. When we come back, we've got our 2 special guests joining us. We'll be right back on Dad's Watching Sports. Big news in the Dad's Watching Sports podcasting world. You've heard us mention it on the show already. We are now part of the Off the Ball Podcast Network. We're super excited to be joining the team of great shows, hopefully adding a little dad flavor to the mix. You can check out Off the Ball Podcast and Off the Ball Network on all your social media sites. Just search Off the Ball Network. And while you're there, give them a like and a follow. You won't regret it. Welcome back to Dad's Watching Sports. He is Kyle Castles. I'm Michael Draper, and these are the wives watching sports, Lauren and Suzanne. Happy Mother's Day to you both. How are you?
Doing good.
Good. Thanks.
And we also who's the little guy or gal we've got there with you?
This is Penny.
Penny. Okay. Yeah. Well, our dog is asleep on the floor, so we've also got some dogs represented here on the show. Well, first off, ladies, thank y'all. We talked about this before the show. Y'all have a lot of pretty big hype to live up to. You look back last year, the number 2 downloaded show in Dad's Watching Sports history was last year's Mother's Day bracket. So a lot to live up to here.
I mean, give your fans what they want.
That's right. We are. We hyped you guys up. We lives coming back, and I know you guys are excited about it. So I wanted to get y'all's take on this very first and foremost. So I know y'all listen to the show every single week. You're religious listeners, and we appreciate the support. So every week we've been talking about this company called All Pro Dad, and they just have these awesome articles about marriage and about parenting and about kids. And I'm sure y'all have heard some of the things we've mentioned. Well, this one I wanted to get y'all's take on. So 8 things every kid should know by age 8 is the name of the topic. And we'll just kind of read through these. And then, Lauren, I'm going to get your take first on if there's maybe something that stood out to you. And then, Suzanne, you can go next. But number 1 is how to be patient. Obviously, very, very important and something we always probably try to continue to stress. Number 2, how to be flexible. Number 3, how to be orderly. Learning to be orderly and not be late or messy or things like that, disorganized. Number 4, how to build integrity. That's a big one. Number 5, I feel like we talk about this all the time, how to be empathetic, because you definitely want to make sure that kids aren't just pushing people over, or if somebody gets hurt, you want to make sure that they say, hey, are you doing okay? Number 6, a big one, of course, how to be loyal. Number 7, how to be accountable. And then number 8, how to sacrifice. So, Lauren, you hear those things, the 8 things every kid should know by age 8. What of those kind of stands out to you, or what was something maybe you took from that?
This may be bad, but I actually had this in my notes for tonight because the first one was patient, and I am like the least patient person in the world. But I will say, what I had in my thoughts for the show was that becoming a mom has helped me with that. It's been a slow process. I'm still not that patient, but I'm a lot better than I used to be. And I've gotten better at realizing that it's more about them enjoying it than everything being perfect. And so the being patient one that's what stood out to me. I don't know if I model that well for them, but that's what I hope to.
Yeah, clearly I don't either. Says the other half.
You have your moments, but we all do.
Yeah. I would say empathetic is a big one for me. I feel like I'm constantly talking to the kids about, are you being caring to your friends? Are you, looking for that kid that's sad and, help that kid if they feel if they're having a bad day, or, just showing that caring side. Because I think our kids at points in their life have not seemed like they were empathetic at all, which scared me. So just trying to really instill that in them, I think, is a really strong attribute they need to have.
So when Emma hurts Hayden, she needs to stop and say, hey, buddy, are you okay? Can I help you with anything? As opposed to just being like, get out of the way, Hayden. Get out of the way.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm sure y'all know that very well, having 2 wild boys.
Yeah. We try, but I'll ask Wrigley, did you do something nice for someone at school today? And he's just like, no, nobody needed any help. I'm like, well, you don't have to help them with something.
Just planting the seed there. They'll need to mature on that one a little bit.
All right. So, Kyle, did you have anything you wanted to add on the All Pro Dad topic?
I feel like the wives hit it. I mean, being flexible, I think, is a big one, especially. I may be going a little too deep, but with Wrigley, our oldest, he has certain things he likes certain ways, and if you mess those up, he gets a little bit aggravated. And so for him, like that one stood out because Wrigley came to mind right off the bat. He needs to work. We need to work with him to be more flexible and allow for, the chaos that life brings to some degree to mess it up and make sure that it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Well, and I think that's something that we have to continue to stress, because I know we talked about this maybe even last week about wanting to do something for them as opposed to the kids, right, wanting to help. And we're like, no, we just need to get this done really quickly. Let me do this for you. And I feel like that can be something that we're not flexible enough about, is like, no, we can't be flexible here to allow you to figure this out on your own. We need to get this done, and we need to get it done right now. So right. I think that's definitely a good one. So, all right, ladies, we've got some really tough questions for you as a part of this week's episode. So the grilling will begin. Happy Mother's Day to you both. So, honey, I'm going to start with you. What is the best part about being a mom?
The best part about being a mom. I mean, I just feel like I've wanted to be a mom for forever. It feels like that was like always my dream job. I just wanted to be a mom. And I think just like getting to have these little ones run around that look like you and they act like you, sometimes
not necessarily a great thing all the time.
Yeah, they show you your best and your worst features. But just being able to love on these kids and feel that like they truly show you unconditional love that I don't feel like you can get from any other relationship. It's just such a different relationship that you just can't explain to anybody else. So I think like no matter how frustrating they are to me, I just love them. Even if I want to.
And that's the same way with your husband.
Scream.
No matter how frustrated you get with him, you always love him.
It's a different love.
Lauren, what about you?
So I had two thoughts on this, but actually I'm going to go back to something Suzanne said, because one of mine was just their personalities. Like our kids have been their own individual personalities since day one. I mean, when we brought them home at 2 weeks old, I was like, man, he doesn't do anything like Wrigley does type of thing. And so, but to Suzanne's point, it's like you have this unique relationship with each child. And I have moments with every child where I'm like, this one's definitely my favorite. Like it just depends on what's going on.
Yeah.
And then secondly, some of the best moments for me where I'm like, this is everything. This is exactly what life is about, is when they're playing together nicely and enjoying each other. And, they're all outside running around, helping each other and that sort of thing, and enjoying each other's company.
And that happens all the time, right?
It does. I mean,
you have to savor those moments. Like before we got hibachi tonight, Hayden just goes up and gives Emma a hug and says, "Oh, Emma, give me a hug." And it was just
Emma,
like
I love you. I love you.
And it was like the cutest little thing. And then, of course, he goes off 2 minutes later and is going like, again. But you have to get those little moments. Okay, Lauren. So you talk about the best part. What is the toughest part of being a mom?
I think discipline. So it's like a very fine line of disciplining them so you have well-behaved children that listen and are respectful, but also keeping connection with them. So you don't want them to just be scared of you or just comply because you're making demands. And so that's really hard to know how to walk that line.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think you called me out on it before, but I think I would say having patience with them. Like I find myself very easy to get frustrated and just like lose my mind and scream typically. And then I feel so guilty afterwards because I see their little faces and their little lips quivering and they're like, "Mommy, I'm sorry." And then it just breaks my heart. But I think I think it's like learning the bad things about myself that come out from being a mom that I, would not have probably realized in any other type of situation.
Yeah.
But I'm learning and I'm growing, and our church lesson was all about that this morning, wasn't it? So
it was.
He was preaching to me.
So Kyle, a question for you. What's the best part for you seeing Lauren as a mom?
So I actually posted this on Facebook.
I know.
You so I appreciate it. I posted a picture of Lauren on Facebook this morning, and said, like, it's not, everybody's posting pictures, and we all know this, like Facebook, social media, it's all about the perfect picture, and you got to have the filter right, and you take about 20 selfies so you get it right and whatever, right? And I took a picture of her one Saturday morning a few months ago probably, and all three kids were sitting in her lap. They were all on the couch. I think something was on TV for them. She was not thrilled with the fact that I posted the picture.
I'm not gonna lie. I looked at him. I said, "That's the one you picked."
But
We've all been there, man. We've all done it.
What I said was, that is when I find her the most beautiful, because I mean, she's there surrounded by her babies in her element, and whatever. Maybe she didn't have makeup on, and maybe, she hadn't done anything with her hair, but like, just seeing her with those kids and seeing how the kids love her and how good she is with them, I don't know, it gets any better.
Yeah. I would completely agree with that. I think I posted some very similar pictures, and I'm sure you probably thought the same thing. Like, why are you posting this? But yeah, seeing them in that element when there's not a, I think I'll say this, and I think we all do this. When you're out amongst other people, you want to give off the perception of like, you're being a great parent, or your kids are acting well. But then when you're just at home and you can just be goofy and fun, I think that's the part for me that really just that I love to see as part of being a mommy. Okay, ladies, back to grilling you guys. So Suzanne, what has been the biggest surprise or something that you didn't expect in being a mom, other than how awesome your husband is?
Well, yes. You certainly have showed up, which I appreciate. Way to set yourself up for that one.
That's right. As any good host does.
Well, I'm going to say I'm quite surprised on these questions, and it seems like Lauren maybe got a glimpse of these ahead of time. So thanks for
I will
surprising me with these.
What else knows better?
Hey, I know how good you are on the fly. So
yeah, I'm working on it here. So the biggest surprise, or something I didn't expect, man, that's so. I feel like every day is a surprise with the kids.
Yeah.
I think something I always go back to, and this is probably so dumb, but I hope other parents have thought this too. Once you have a baby, then you kind of get this realization of like, I have to teach this child everything. Like, they don't know anything. So I literally have to teach them, what a tow truck is. Like, trying to explain a tow truck to my child, and it was very difficult for me, which should not have been.
Thunder and lightning.
Thunder and lightning, yes. Emma was asking me, like, what is God doing when it's lightning? And I told her, taking a picture. So that'll come back to us probably. Yeah. But I think that for some reason, I just never had crossed my mind that these little ones will really look at us for everything. And which is a huge honor, but it's also scary. Because like I said before, it they show you your bad flaws. Because when they start snapping and yelling at their siblings the way that you do, like you realize that's coming from you. But yeah, I would say that was a big surprise that shouldn't have been a surprise, but it has been.
Yeah. What about you, Lauren?
Well, the first thing I thought about when I read that was the noise. The amount of noise is absolutely shocking. On a more serious note, I've been shocked by just how much they have changed me. Going back to the patience thing, or I'm like uber perfectionist, and that doesn't happen with a 6-year-old and a 4-year-old and a 1-year-old. And also, to Suzanne's point about teaching them things, we've worked very, very hard on teaching our kids about emotions, which is not something that I had adults in my life talk to me about when I was little. So when you talk about like losing it and screaming, sometimes we've all done that. And that's what was modeled for me. And so we're trying to change that. So we talk to them a lot about having big feelings and what you do when you have big feelings, and it's okay to feel it, but what you have to do when you're like how you have to behave, even though you might be feeling that way. So I've just told them, like, we're learning this together. Nobody talked to me about this when I was little. And so that's one of those things we're trying to instill in them.
Yeah. I feel like we try to do that all the time. I say it all the time, like when I snap and then I come back and I'll say, Mommy, I am so sorry. I should not have acted like that. And, they get it. They realize, like, oh, Mommy's apologizing to me. Like, she's not perfect. And then it just helps them to kind of process those feelings when it happens to them in another situation. So
I agree. I think apologizing is huge. I don't remember that happening a lot when I was little. So.
Yeah.
Well, and I think, like Emma has on numerous occasions expressed to us when she's frustrated, and we, and having that conversation, like, that's okay. Like, I understand that you're frustrated and I'm sorry that you are, but that's okay. Sometimes we all get frustrated, and it's how we kind of act post frustration that really kind of sets us apart. The noise is bad. There's no doubt about that. And something else that's very loud is a monkey when he's fighting with his knife. Did you know that?
Yep, that is true.
You've heard it once or twice. That's right. Well, did you know that Monkey Knife Fight is a daily fantasy sports game website for the casual sports fan? It's simple, it's fun, and it's even easy to play. Lauren, let me tell you, users determine which superstars are competing in the day's professional sporting events, and then will record more or less than the contest line provided. MKF's daily fantasy prop games play similarly to the salary cap-based DFS games, but no math. No math.
You hate math.
Thank the good Lord. Without algorithms, lineups, and most importantly, the sharks, baby sharks, the Shark Tank, none of that. That's right. There are several contests to choose from, none of which require hours of research required on competing sites. Start with a simple 2 for 2 or go for the highest payout 100 times and higher by selecting 8 for 8 more or less contests. You can get started right now with 100% instant match bonus up to $50 with the promo code. Lauren, do you know the promo code?
No. Off the ball.
Off the ball. Very good. Suzanne, can you give us your best monkey sound? That's fantastic.
That's what I got. That's what I taught my kids.
That is Mrs. Draper, ladies and gentlemen. Mrs. Draper. Okay. Last couple things here, and we're going to go to a quick break. Suzanne, what is something that your mom taught you that you've implemented in being a mom?
Oh my goodness.
There's so many things. You're basically the same person.
Yeah. Start with Lauren, because she had a chance to think through this first.
This is off script.
Oh, okay.
There you go. Yeah, I told you I throw them in every once in a while.
My mom has taught me so much, like everything, because I'm literally, I feel like her twin. You say it all the time.
Little Pammy.
Apple didn't fall far from the tree, which I'm thankful for that. Oh gosh, she has taught me how to be an amazing wife.
Yep.
I think is huge. I think she modeled that relationship with my dad, which, I told her all the time, like, I am never going to find somebody like my dad. So you just set me up for failure, because their relationship, is not perfect, but it's beautiful, and they work hard, and, it's a great marriage. And I'm thankful that I found you, honey.
As am I. Thank the good Lord.
And then, obviously, I think she was such an incredible mom. She still is, obviously, but she taught me, she was a strict mom, which we laugh about now, because now she is far from a strict Grammy.
Yeah.
But I think that was really important, because I feel like I grew up with a lot of structure and a lot of, to kind of discipline to my life. And, I think that made me, the kind of structured, hardworking person that I am.
Yep.
And she also played Dave Ramsey for me constantly in the car, which means I am great with our finances.
Thank you, Pam.
So
I will forever thank you for that.
I mean, I could go on and on. Yeah. I love my mom, but I think those are some main things.
So I think Pam is more like my dad. My dad was the strict one. My mom was more strict on me because I was the oldest than the other two, but definitely much more lenient than my dad. I think my mom's strengths are really being empathetic. She's very social. She is the one that checks on everyone in the family. She's the one that people go to, and she's always understanding and really just one of those that you can talk to about anything. And even though she might have an opinion about it, or it could be something very bad that you've done or someone else has done, she's also very forgiving and open to change. And so I think my mom has given me all of these softer parts of me in that regard. Even with my kids. She's definitely will tell me, no, they're being okay. That you think they're you think they're acting poorly right here, but they're really not. They're being fine. And so she's just very understanding and empathetic and easy to talk to.
Yeah. So is your mom. I completely agree with that. Okay.
Yeah.
Last question before we go to a break. So you both, I alluded to this in the Twitter, the Twitter sphere this week. That we had our two guests were also more famously known as superheroes. And I use that term for y'all too, because you are both working moms that have both very high stress, a lot of hours, jobs. So you couple that with being a mom and the things that you've talked about and Kyle talked about of, having 3 kids and having 2 kids. And so how has that work-life balance been for you, Lauren?
I don't know if there's any balance. Well, I do try. It's hard. I try to take one day a week off with the kids because I just have a lot of guilt about working super long hours and that I can't necessarily stay home with them. But there's good and bad to that. On those days I stay off with them, sometimes it is the most fun, awesome day ever. And we go to the zoo or go to the park and it's wonderful. And then some days I'm like, I cannot wait for bedtime. And so it cuts both ways, right? Like being a stay-at-home mom is good and bad for different reasons. So sometimes I enjoy going to the office and having conversations with adults and having a little bit of me time, I guess, if you will. But I try to take off as much time as I can. I'm self-employed, so I can work around their school schedules and like activities that they have, which is really nice. But I also stay up really late a lot, working till midnight after they go to bed. So you just kind of figure it out.
Yeah. Yeah. This is a tough season and they always say, try to live in the moment. But being, in a profession that usually I would be traveling quite a bit and planning, very stressful corporate events. It would be hard to, step away from my family and the kids and traveling and, because I wanted to be here, but I also wanted to, succeed in my career and move up in my career. And so it was a really tough balance. And then with COVID that brought on, totally different balance in life and struggles. But I think, like I said before, my dream job, was being a mom, and my dream job was being I thought a wedding planner, but now a corporate event planner. And so just having those 2 passions and just finding time for both of them, I think it's a daily task, I think, that we have to do. But it's worth it because we love our little babies and, we also get a totally different balance and thrill in life from having these successful careers. So.
For sure. Kyle, you look like you had something to say.
You think I can add to that? Look, what if this becomes not dads watching sports, but moms talking about how to be fantastic mothers? Because I think they could have a much more successful.
I know. Yeah, that's what I was sitting here thinking. I was like, man, we don't even really need to be here. Like, we should.
But if we ran the show, it would probably go long every week. We talk a lot more than y'all.
That's true. So Caitlin Delaney says, look at the beautiful moms. We completely agree. We're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, we have a very heated topic about taking baths during storms that I'm looking forward to get into. But we'll take a break, and we'll be right back on Dads and Moms Watching Sports. Coming up next week on Dads Watching Sports, it is episode 65, and the dads are joined by Mo Murphy of Up in Flames podcast on the Off the Ball Network. We'll talk with Mo about his Ohio State Buckeyes, how he thinks Urban Meyer will do in Jacksonville, and of course about dad life as he and his wife just welcomed a new baby boy to the world. All that and more next week on Dads Watching Sports.
See.
You think so? Maybe a little bit. Welcome back to Dads Watching Sports. I am Michael Draper, along with Mrs. Draper Suzanne and Kyle Castles and Mrs. Castles, our legal representation. Lauren, thank you so much for being on. It's Mother's Day, and so we've got the moms joining us. We talked about it all week. We promoted it. Again, got a lot to live up to with that last time you guys joined us on Mother's Day last year. Now, do y'all remember
Hey, real quick. So I always have the Facebook feed, our Facebook feed up as we do the show, just so I can see the comments roll in. We usually have a certain number of people that are watching the show live. We are about triple that number this week.
That's right.
I mean,
I think it's gotta be right. And I'm pointing at Suzanne. You can't.
Yeah.
There's no finger point at you.
We're on here every week. People don't care about us. That is for sure.
They're probably tuning in thinking, what does that girl know about sports?
Hey,
this should be interesting.
Well, but they probably also think that when they listen to us every week. They're like,
Exactly.
although Kyle, I don't know if you knew this, honey. Kyle played college football. So,
I've heard that once or twice, Kyle.
And you know what? Because of that, I know everything.
Yeah.
That he does.
That's
he
true.
does. That's right. So thank you for checking out Dads Watching Sports. If you're listening to the podcast, I want you to go in and rate, review, and subscribe. Are you subscribed to our podcast, honey?
Yeah.
All right.
Every week.
You are, right? Yeah.
I think.
I think that's good. Well, we'll take it. Yeah. I mean, yes, you are. So we have 2 subscribers. That's good. That's great.
Well, we have one for sure. We think we have 2.
That's
1.5.
Yeah, maybe. All right, Kyle. I know you wanted to get into this topic. So
Yeah. So
Don't judge.
she's pretty, but she thinks that taking a bath or a shower during a storm is dangerous because apparently plastic pipes can conduct electricity. Now, I've never heard of plastic being a great conductor, but she has had it drilled into her head. We talked about things that, what was the question? What are some things your mom taught you that you didn't know? Mom?
This is true.
Love you, Kim.
It's been written out of the will.
So she thinks that if you take a bath or a shower, lightning is going to strike the house, run through those plastic pipes, come out of the shower head or the whatever, and electrocute you. But they're plastic.
I don't think he's looked at the pipes.
I know this house was built in the 80s.
So Kyle, have you crawled in the crawl space and checked out the pipes?
Mike, you know how big I am, right?
Hey, those little doors aren't that small.
One my size does not just crawl in places, but you never know if you're going to be able to get out.
Oh, that's hilarious. Well, Lauren, this is a pretty highly debated topic on your social media, right?
It was. I did an unofficial Facebook poll and had about 100 responses. And I'm just saying, only 3 people said that this wasn't real. Everyone else does not shower or bathe during a thunderstorm.
Everyone else is still living in 1952. They're also running bomb drills, screaming flash and trying to get under a desk fast enough so that the nuclear bomb doesn't kill them. They're also doing that. They also think the Russians are still commies.
There we go. We would love to hear from the Dads Watching Sports universe. Do you allow your kids or yourself to bathe or shower during a thunderstorm?
Let's be honest. Yeah. There's been several times where we're like, it's storming. Should the kids bathe? Like, we don't know. We've obviously both been told they shouldn't.
Right.
And I think we asked Alexa one time, like, should we let the kids bathe when it's lightning?
And they bathe tonight in the storm, so it's fine. We take quick baths. During
like that makes it better.
That's right. It does. It really does. All right, so it is Mother's Day. Again, happy Mother's Day to you two and anyone out there that's checking out the show. So Lauren, we'll start with you first. How big of a deal is Mother's Day to you? Is it just like, okay, it's a nice day, I get a few things, my family's ultra nice to me, or is it like, no, this better happen, we better go do X, Y, and Z, like it's a big deal?
This is funny because we had this conversation this morning. So I really don't get worked up about Mother's Day. I don't really anticipate it or anything like that, but there are things I want, and that's homemade gifts from the kids. Like those little sheets that they fill out, like all about my mom type of thing that are super cute. I mean, that's about it. I just want stuff from the kids. But I think what ends up making it disappointing is you get it built up in your head, like this is a holiday and this is Mother's Day. And so this is going to be nice and all of my kids are going to get along and we're going to go to church and it's going to be a good morning. And then they act just like they did yesterday and just like they're going to act tomorrow other than saying Happy Mother's Day. And then you're like, oh, couldn't you just get along and behave and not make crazy noises in the middle of church? Or like today was Hannah's baby dedication too. And during the prayer, one of them went all the way to the top, like where the preacher goes and was jumping around on stage. Like,
nice.
Jumping off of there.
Yeah.
Jumping off of the stage.
Just maybe don't, but they're the same kids. They were super excited and sweet and tell me Happy Mother's Day. But you think in your head, they're going to be so nice to each other and no fighting. And that doesn't happen.
Our morning was great.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, I think Lauren must have been in our house this morning because that literally was our morning. Like I had in my head like, oh, I'll sleep in a little bit. I'll wake up and the kids will be like, Mommy, I love you. Like this is the one day that I'm going to love Mommy more than Daddy because they love Daddy more. And they were on a different level this morning. They were like, it was just bad. Like they were just fighting and they were cranky and they were miserable and it was like Happy Mother's Day.
Uh-huh.
Oh, well, glad I birthed both of you. Great. And then thankfully we went to church and I think we all got a large dose of Jesus this morning.
We did.
And we came out of church in much better moods and it was a much better day afterwards. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. I feel like I think Mother's Day is a big deal. And I am the same way. I get the expectations in my head of like, you know, it's going to be this really nice day. My kids are going to be sweet to me. I know my husband's going to do, you know, go above and beyond and, you know, do all the things so that like he's going to cook and clean and take care of the kids so that.
You did get crepes.
You made some amazing crepes. Yes, you did.
That's impressive.
Bad boy.
That's impressive.
Yeah, he did good. They
were pretty good.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, I'm not looking for like, you know, spend tons of money on me or anything like that. Emma made this sweet little bracelet.
I'm kidding.
I mean, this isn't Valentine's Day. No, this sweet little gifts. Now that the kids are like getting a little bit older, I feel like this is the first year, besides like the gifts from school.
Yeah.
Michael and Emma made me this little bracelet and it was sweet.
Well, so speaking of gifts, what are like the surefire home run Mother's Day gifts? And then what are the like, don't you dare even think about getting me that for Mother's Day.
Like a blender? Michael legit asked, well, your blender's like kind of breaking. Should I get that for you for Mother's Day?
That's
like,
okay.
You come home with a blender for Mother's Day?
Very practical.
That's a fair question.
No, do not buy me something I could buy myself.
It's practical.
No.
And it's something she uses all the time. And the other day she was like,
smoothies.
But you were like, and this thing's not really working right. I think it might be broken. So I was like,
oh, no.
Yes, I'm in.
No,
okay, so
moms do not want appliances for Mother's Day.
You say that, Mike. You know our friend Nick Hathcock.
Yeah.
He apparently got his wife a vacuum cleaner that she asked for Mother's Day.
Boom.
Practical.
Is that because it was like a Roomba, so she didn't have to vacuum?
Yeah, it was like a crossweave, something another. I don't know.
Crosswave, the Bissell Crosswave. Those are nice.
See, look.
There we go. Well, Mrs. Castles, what about you? Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
The good ones are kid crafts. Maybe like breakfast, make us breakfast. Last year, because we didn't have to go to church, I got breakfast in bed. That was nice. And I think he made all the kids leave and I watched TV for a little bit. I don't have a lot that I would really hate. Like if I got a really nice vacuum, I would actually kind of like that. Now, I do think if you're going to go that direction, there has to be a conversation. Like I wouldn't want a blender. So there's no rhyme or reason to this. Like maybe a super nice coffee pot I could get behind, but I don't know. But so I had a friend that posted on her Facebook page that she found out ahead of time that her husband was looking at like dryer balls or something for her. And she texted him and was like, don't even think about coming home with dryer balls for Mother's Day. So he came home with them, but they were not Mother's Day gift. They just went to the laundry room. So like that would be kind of a crappy gift.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, this is all about like from the kids. I agree. Like,
well, right. You're not our mother. So
yeah.
And in all reality, we shouldn't get you any.
I mean,
you won't have your children without us, so
yeah.
That's true.
Although to be fair, I'm pretty sure last year for Father's Day I got Kyle some kind of yard tool. I don't even know what it is, but is that the equivalent of a blender?
I got gas. Hang on, Michael, get this. I got a gas powered hedge trimmer.
Ah, yes, very nice.
See, it's okay.
And Kyle, that is perfect. That is perfect timing. Because,
I'm muting you now.
and I was trying to figure out. I was trying to figure out a way how to segue this in, and you just hit me up.
I thought Suzanne was doing this read.
I can't in good faith.
He asked, and I'm like, listen.
I can't in good faith allow her to do this because, Kyle, the NFL draft was just a couple weeks ago. And I'm sure when you got those hedge trimmers, you were thinking, it's possible that I might have Trevor Lawrence's haircut in my pants. And that's why our partners at Manscaped, the leaders in below-the-waist grooming, have partnered with us to make sure you don't gamble on having down there the same way you might gamble on a football team or a first-round pick or what to get your wife for Mother's Day or whatever. So for all of our draft geeks out there who may have some issues down below, we have an exclusive 20% off promo code off the ball at manscaped.com. That's 20% off free shipping with the code off the ball at manscaped.com. That could not have been played any better. We did not even plan that, but the hedge trimmer, the gifts, it all works out.
Maybe that's Father's Day gift for you.
I already have one.
You haven't gotten everything.
I have the Lawnmower 3.0.
Well, I thought you were talking about gas-powered hedge trimmers for the outside. She's talking about Manscaped.
That's right. Absolutely.
The Manscaped.
Yeah, I got the Lawnmower 2.0 upstairs.
Yeah. Well, I got the 3.0. That's right. Okay. Last thing here. We will start with Mrs. Castles. And before we finish up, thank you all very much for doing this, for being wonderful mothers, for putting up with us and allowing us to do this each and every week. We appreciate all of your support. So finish this sentence, Lauren. My life would be so much easier if my dear husband, Mr. Kyle Castles with the Lawnmower 2.0, would blank?
That one is so hard. I don't know why.
If I had the 3.0.
That's right.
That would make my life easier.
No comment. It's a family show.
I am going to go with have everything ready for me to leave in the morning. So he's gone before I even get up, typically. Honestly, I'm not a morning person. And so I get all 3 kids up and dressed and ready and downstairs and fed and making coffee and kindergarten tote and kindergarten laptop backpack. And we have to have EpiPens and so I guess that's what I would say is if all the coffee was made and all the bags were at the door, would make things easier.
Somebody just had an epiphany in the background. I was like,
coffee pot.
I look around and most of the bags are packed. I could get them to the door.
Yeah.
there you go.
That's all I got.
All right. Mrs. Draper, I know there's probably nothing that you could think of here, but I'll put you on the spot anyway. My life would be so much easier if my husband would use his lawnmower 3.0.
Yeah, not shave a mustache when we're going to church.
Not a mustache.
It was a mustache.
I'll die on that hill. It was not a mustache.
I saw it. It was a mustache.
For Easter, right?
Ruin the Easter pictures. If he didn't ruin Easter pictures, that would probably make your life easier.
It's true.
Yeah, so I can show the world my perfect family pictures.
Hey, I made that picture perfect.
Well,
With your perfect mustache.
super creepy. I don't. That's a really tough question, honey.
It's okay. I do everything.
You really do. You really do.
It's okay to
You
admit.
go above and beyond. I feel like all my friends say your husband does way more than theirs.
I paid her to say all this. Sorry.
I don't know. Like, I feel like the most frustrating times were when you started working from home and you
So not spend time with me. If my husband would leave me alone.
My husband wanted to water cooler talk with me, stand in my doorway and so how's your day going? What do you want for lunch, honey? What can I do for breakfast? You want some coffee? And I'm like, I'm used to being at home by myself and I want to work, which makes me sound like a terrible person. So
not everybody can handle me. It's okay.
I don't know if I have a good answer for that.
That's a good one.
You're great.
He is a bit much.
He is just very chatty. Whereas I am if I'm working, I just want to work and be done with my work. And he wants to, well, how's your day going? How was that last call? I think I heard you on a call. What are you doing?
See,
when's your next call?
But so I'm a fundraiser. That's my job. And so I have to build those relationships. People, I need to find out what's going on in their lives. And so I just apply that to my everyday life. And see, we even get a comment here from Kenny Castles. And this man knows what he's talking about. He says, good job, Mike B. I appreciate that, Kenny C. All right. Well, ladies, again, thank you. Kyle, you didn't get a whole lot in this week on the show, but we'll get with you next week. I think we got some sports topics, so you can carry us. You always do good carrying us with the sports topics.
Hey, look, when we talk about things I know everything, but I don't know anything about being a mom.
That's true. That is very true.
It's fair.
All right, ladies. Well, thank you all so much, and thank you for checking us out this week. We will be back again next week. I mentioned Mo Murphy of the Up in Flames podcast is going to join us. He's got a brand new son, and we're going to talk some Ohio State football and some other things. So we will see you next week on Dad's Watching Sports. Y'all take care.
Bye.